Welcome to the FYE Talks podcast for our episode, Figuring It Out, Financial Aid Tips and Tricks, Part 2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of FYE Talks. I'm your host, Trinity Bradley, and today with me I have Rachel Hepner and Dawn Smith. Can you all tell me a little bit about what you all do, what office you work in, any programs you're involved with?
Yeah, as you said, my name is Rachel Hepner. I'm the scholarship coordinator on campus. I also work in the financial aid office, so not only do I deal with scholarships and that type of things, when students who come in need help with Fafsa, stuff like that, I can help with that. Also, I do a lot with the Work Ready Scholarship as well, so that is a big thing I do.
And I'm Dawn Smith, and I am the SAP coordinator and financial aid counselor. I also deal with a little bit of everything else within our financial aid office in RPC 105, but I also take in SAP appeals, which is satisfactory academic progress, and things of that nature.
Okay, so you all are both involved with the financial aid office. So today we're going to do kind of a part 2 of our financial aid, and I feel like they're going to answer questions pretty good since you all work in the office. Okay, so I guess one big student concern about moving to the online semester is, what they can charge their student account and what they can't. So a big question we got was, can they charge any lab kits on financial aid? So
Okay. Rachel, can you take that?
Yeah, definitely. They can charge lab kits for, from their financial aid. As long as you have it in the bookstore and you have enough aid to cover it, you can definitely get that in the bookstore.
and when can they start doing that?
So you can start charging from your financial aid 10 days before or 10 days after your classes begin. So if your classes begin August 17th, you can go in on August 7th. You can also go ahead and go online and charge. You can order it through your financial aid, but it won't be processed until the 7th.
So you can kind of do a pre-order? Mm-hmm. Okay. They also asked, are they able to buy things, like laptops, headphones, printers, anything else, like other accessories that they need with their financial aid?
Yes, most definitely. They can, and if you go into the bookstore, they do have, signs up saying I'm financial aid eligible, but yes, they can charge just about anything in the bookstore.
So if they want to charge something like that, they'll need to go through the bookstore to buy it. They can't go to Best Buy and be like, oh, I have financial aid.
Right, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
The bookstore.
Because I know some people, they might be, oh, well, I can go to Best Buy and get a laptop, but they're not affiliated with ECTC.
correct.
Yeah, if you want it now, bookstore.
Right.
So would you all recommend students taking out a student loan or a private one? And which one is better and why?
Okay, so we always recommend taking out a federal student loan instead of a private loan, just because with the federal student loans, there's a lot more provisions available to you. Like you can get on a forbearance while you're, if you have issues paying your student loans back. You can go into an in-school deferment. Like while you're in school, they can put that aside. You can also adjust your payments, payment plans, things of that nature that you might not be able to get with a private loan.
So where would they need to, what are some private loans that you all know of if a student wanted to get one?
Well, as far as private loans, we're not really, you can go to your banks, there's Sally Mae, that's just to name a few, but you would have to actually research that yourself to find out what private loan is best for you, because a lot of the private loans are based on credit ratings.
So how can they estimate what their interest rate would be for a student loan?
So federal loans, again, private, that would be through their own thing. But for federal loans, it does change. So we have it here that it is determined for your direct loans between July 1st and June 30th, kind of like that whole year. Once you do get that interest rate, it's fixed, so it won't be changing. But also, if they already have a loan, say they have a loan now, they can go to their lender and look at that. Also, if you're still kind of trying to figure out if you want to do a student loan, I recommend going ahead and doing your entrance counseling, whether or not you're going to take it out. But that entrance counseling will help determine, but will show you what interest rates might be kind of at the moment, what you're looking at, so many years down the road, stuff like that. So
Because they could change each spring, depending on the Department of Education.
So I know some students get confused on subsidized and unsubsidized. We kind of discussed this in the last episode. So what are those and what does it mean? To have a subsidized and unsubsidized?
Well, subsidized is your interest is paid for you while you're in school. So it's like not an accrual while you're in school. Now, for unsubsidized loans, that interest is accruing in school while you don't have to necessarily pay it back while you're in school. It does capitalize at the end of your loan. So once you stop going after 6 months, or, you graduate after 6 months, all the interest will accrue.
So if you have the subsidized loan that doesn't get an interest,
Right. You don't start getting charged interest until after you're out of school, but it doesn't capitalize. Like, the government's paying your interest while you're in school. So it's not like, when you get out of school, all the interest is going to go. It's just going to go by what the balance is on your loan.
so they can pay off the loan while they're in school, but not have to worry about interest. But as soon as they graduate, the interest.
Correct.
Okay. So are there any programs available that can help them pay off their student loans?
I mean, really, not real. Like, there really isn't. But if you happen to get with an employer that does student loan forgiveness, that would be your best bet. So, hospitals, stuff like that. I don't really know anything right off the top of my head. I don't know if Dawn does or not. But your best bet would be to find a good employer or whatever career field you are going into. Kind of do your research. So.
Yeah, I know at HMH they do like a tuition reimbursement thing, and they'll help. But you have to sign a contract. But that would be a good thing to go in and do some research and be like, hey, do you have to sign a contract? Can y'all help me pay off my loans?
Definitely, yeah.
Like, that would be a good thing to take into consideration. So what does deferment mean? Okay.
That's another thing with the student loans. So, like being an in-school deferment, let's say you had loans before and you're coming back to school and you've been making payments on those loans. If you come back to school, you can talk to your lender and tell them that you would like to have an in-school deferment, to where it will go, you won't have to be paying on your loans while you're in school.
Oh,
So, yeah.
so it's just takes it where you don't, if you go back to school, you don't have to pay on your loans while
Yeah,
you're
it's
in
kind of
school.
like a pause.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
guess.
like taking a pause where you're not having to pay right now while you're in school, because they know you're already getting, you're going to be getting more financial aid and, more stress and having to pay.
Yeah.
You might not be working while you're in school. So they'll give you that in-school deferment. You just have to get with your lender and ask them for that paperwork.
So a question that just popped into my head, that because I read the Case TCS app a lot and I kind of pull questions from there. I know students ask if they need a loan for the fall, when should they apply? Like, for each semester, if they need a loan for the spring, when should they apply? And if they need one for the fall, when should they apply?
So if it's already on their account, they can go ahead and request it. It'll be under their financial aid tab, under their student self-service, request a student loan, it's on there. Now, they do need to keep in mind, when you are requesting a loan in the fall, you're requesting it for the full academic year. So make math easy. Say you need a loan for $1,000 for the fall. You would want to request $2,000. That way you get half of that for now. And then say the spring's come around, you're like, hey, I need $2,000, not just $1,000. You can do an additional loan request at that time too.
So you can add on loans as
If you have any
eligible.
availability.
so if I realized like today that I needed a loan, could I like request a loan right now and get it for the fall?
Yeah.
Okay. Because some students are confused. They're like, oh, well, I have to wait till next year to request a loan. I'm kind of just going to have to tough it out this year.
No, you
some
can
of them.
request it, like for the fall, like Rachel said, requesting it for the fall is a little bit different, just because it goes for the fall and spring. So anything that you request gets split in half. It's kind of like how when you have your pending aid, right now your pending aid shows it for the whole year at full-time status, but it's split in half for the 2 semesters. So it's, it's split. But if you were to request it in the springtime, then you'll have that
full
money
amount,
just for the
yeah.
spring, but you just have to make sure that you're eligible for that much for each semester.
Okay. So what does it mean if you default on a student loan?
Defaulting on a student loan is like you've not been paying on it. Some people move, it's many things can happen as being in default, but if you're in default, you need to get with your loan provider and set up a way to get out of default. It can take a little bit of time. It's not an overnight thing, but if you get with your lender, it could be a mistake on your part, a mistake on their part, but definitely get with your lender.
So if you're in default, you can't get any more loans out?
You won't be able to
No.
get any financial aid.
no Pell.
No Pell Grant, no loans
Oh,
or anything.
So they completely cut
Yeah,
out.
no
Right.
federal aid, yeah.
Yeah, you
Or
won't be able to get any
state,
federal
too.
aid.
And now we break for a program plug.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexis Hutchinson and I'm your first year experience academic advisor and success coach. So you might be wondering what an academic advisor is and what an FYE success coach is and how they're different. And so I'm going to explain it today so there's no confusion and you know how to reach out to me in case you have any questions. So an academic advisor is someone who acts as a mentor usually. Typically, you would get in contact with them when open enrollment begins to schedule next semester's classes. And so as an academic advisor, I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to help you schedule your classes. If you have questions about what majors might be right for you, if you're thinking about switching, if you have career questions, all of those are reasons to contact me if you have any of those questions. On the success coach side, however, it's a little bit different. That's a lot more in-depth, and I'm here to help in a lot of ways. So as your success coach, I'm here to make sure college goes right for that first year. It can be super overwhelming when you first get into college and people are throwing around words like GPA and SAP and all these kinds of different things. Sometimes you just want one person where you can say, hey, I have no idea what this is. I need you to help me. And that's what I'm here for. If you have questions about anything, if you have questions about your GPA, your classes, if you'd like to get connected to resources on campus, like tutoring, anything like that is a really good reason to send me an email, a text, or give me a call. You can always stop by my office, ATB 102D. If you have a question or kind of an emergency situation crops up, you have my Google Voice number, which is included in my email below. Also, my office phone number for your reference, and my email. All of these are excellent ways to contact me if you have questions throughout the semester. But it doesn't have to be just academics. Say you want to know what clubs are available, what things might be good for you to join, like Phi Theta Kappa, and how you do that. Again, these are all great reasons to reach out to me. Say you just need to vent. We got a pandemic going on that nobody saw a couple months ago. So that can be a really good reason to need to talk to somebody throughout the semester. And I'm always here to listen, and I'm always here to help. I hope you reach out to me during the semester, even if it's just to say hi, what's up, and I look forward to seeing you. So, again, give me a call, give me a text, send me an email. We'll get together, we'll get you straight, and we'll make sure you're where you need to be for this semester. Awesome. Bye-bye.
Okay, so do you have to pay a company to complete or submit your Fafsa?
No. Yeah, if you're paying for it, close it. It's not the right application.
Yeah.
FAFSA, the F in FAFSA stands for free. So, yeah, don't pay anyone to do it.
It's a .gov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be
Not
going to
.com.
a FAFSA.com.
Right,
'cause-
Yeah.
They have them out there, but that's not the right one.
So if a student needs help applying for their FAFSA, where can they go?
In office. RPQ 105, we would definitely, help you. You can make an appointment or, best bet at this point, make an appointment with us and we can help you fill that out. We are practicing social distancing, all that stuff. You will have your own little cube. But yeah, we can help you.
Okay, so why does it say, so on the FAFSA, there's an EFC, and, some people don't know what that stands for.
Right.
So why does it say an EFC is so much higher than what my family can actually contribute, and how do you get that fixed?
Yeah, I'll take it. So EFC, estimated family contribution, there are a lot of factors that play into that. So if you work and your parents work, both of your incomes will go into that. It goes by your household size, how many might be in college. And so there is a formula that kind of plays into that, and that's how we grab that number. Well, we don't grab it, but the website does. And if for some reason, we go off of taxes 2 years ago. So if you're filling it out now, it's based off of 2018. And say in 2019, there was a loss of a job within the family, something like that. We can definitely do something called a recalculation. Contact one of us, come in office, we can get you the paperwork for it. But if there hasn't really been any changes from that time, you can't change that EFC. I mean, it's kind of how it is. But like I said, if there has been changes, then we can help with that.
So like an example would be, if a student's just now coming to school, but they don't live with their parents, but in 2018 they live with their parents, and they're not dependent of them anymore, can they get their EFC recalculated if they no longer live with their parents like this year, or?
No, unless they have no contact with that parent whatsoever.
24.
Yeah, married, 24, have children. If something like that had happened, then yes. But if it's still, I'm 19 years old, I moved out, but you still have a healthy relationship, stuff like that, the EFC would still be the same.
Now, they could request a dependency override they can do a request with us to, be independent of their parents. They can do that as well. But as far as the EFC goes, it's
kind of tricky, but
Yeah.
if they have questions about it, they can come and ask
Most
you all.
definitely.
Definitely.
Okay, so can you spend financial aid on things they need like groceries, gas, and bills?
yes. Once your financial aid comes, and let's say you get a refund, then you're able to. That's spent. Gas bills. Those are part of your educational needs to help you with your educational goals. So spending your refund on that. Now you won't be able to charge it to the school on your
Yeah.
financial aid, but yeah.
You don't get any kind of card that's like,
Right.
take it to the gas station. This is my financial aid card.
Right.
I'm gonna need some gas. So, what do you suggest someone should do with their refund if they don't need to spend it on necessities?
Save it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Most
if
definitely.
You don't need it. Save it for, because what happens, maybe next year that EFT might, rise, and maybe you won't get that aid. So if you happen to have it set back, you're going to be fine.
Or if you pursue like upper, like masters,
Right.
or transfer and get your bachelor's, you can use it.
Yeah,
towards
definitely.
That.
If you have it set back.
I mean, you never know. You might have an unexpected charge at the end of the semester. You might have, gotten an extra book or need something else you might need at the end of the semester, or even in the next semester that money could go for.
How do you know if dropping a class will affect my financial aid?
Those are on a case-by-case basis. Usually, if you are receiving financial aid, it is very good to come to the financial aid office and see one of the counselors to see just exactly what impact it could have on you. If you drop one class, you might have little to no effect, but if you were to withdraw all of your classes, that could have a major impact. So it's always best to check with financial aid anytime you decide to drop a class.
Okay. Why do I have to pay back my grant when I dropped my class? So.
Well, if you dropped one class, like you just said, you probably wouldn't have to pay anything back. But if you withdrew from all of your classes, there are a lot of dates that play into it that I'm not going to get into the grave details about it. But if you happen to drop all of your courses, that's when you would probably have to pay something back. You will be notified, through a letter and stuff like that if you do. But if you, as Sandra said, if you want to drop classes, come in our office and talk about it, talk it through to make sure you are making the best bet. And then we can kind of give you some advice what to do. But always try to stay enrolled if possible.
So, like a grant, would they have to pay back Pell or CAP grant if they drop the class? Would they have to pay that grant back?
There's a chance. Yeah.
So if they're in like 5 classes and they completely drop out of all their classes, they would potentially have to pay back all that financial aid money.
Depending on when they withdrew. If you look at your academic calendar online, you can go through and check the dates of, last day to withdraw, 50%, whatever, but always check with financial aid to see if, what your best bet would be to drop all of your classes.
Without
Things happen. Yeah, without having to
messing
pay
with
that money
financial
back.
aid.
Yeah.
So, are there other options for paying my student bill aside from loans if I do not receive enough financial aid?
There's scholarships, of course, working with Work Ready. So say, you only get loans and I don't want to take out loans, stuff like that. We do have something called the Work Ready Scholarship. There are a little bit of criteria for it, which, I'll be happy to talk about that if you ever come in. But that's one thing, of course, scholarships, but they do have payment options or a payment plan. That's all through the business office. So that could just be another option.
So if they have any questions about setting up payments, like you all just help them get the financial aid, but if they need help paying, they can just see the business office.
Yes.
So we also got another question about getting a letter saying I owe a balance even though it says I have enough financial aid. I can comment on that. Just bring that to the business office and ask them because, it's just one of those generated emails that you get. And the way financial aid shows up on student accounts is like weird because, first you'll get your Pell and CAP grant and then out of nowhere it's like, bang, here's Keys money. And then you get your Pell and CAP grant refund and then like 2 or 3 weeks later it's like, where did all this money come from? And it's your Keys refund. The time frames are weird. So what is SAP and why do I have to file an appeal?
Okay, well, SAP is your satisfactory academic progress. Anyone who is receiving any type of Title IV aid, Pell grants, loans, you would need to make sure that you're maintaining satisfactory academic progress. What that is you need to maintain a 2.0 GPA and maintain 67% completion, which is completing at least 2/3 of your classes. That's with W's, F's, E's, anything like that. So anytime you go on suspense, you're suspended from financial aid from SAP. So you would have to, that's why you'd have to submit an appeal because you're not following your SAP.
So if they get the SAP, that means that they can't get any student loans or anything out?
Correct. You are suspended from financial aid and you have to appeal. Now, just because you submit an appeal does not guarantee approval. You have to, at an extenuating circumstance, like if you had a death in the family or sickness, you'd still have to submit documentation for that. But you can submit an appeal and there's a committee that does review those. But those are federal guidelines that we have to follow.
So pretty much a rule of thumb is complete all your classes, please.
Yeah, pass all your classes, and if you have to withdraw, things happen.
Yeah, life happens.
Just follow. Just make sure you follow. And if you have questions, come in and ask. It's nice to be able to ask fellow students, but everybody's aid is different. It's per person.
Everybody's got different
Yep,
circumstances.
exactly.
So how does SAP keep me from getting financial aid? Which
We kind of just covered that,
Yeah.
but it's going to keep you from getting financial aid just because you're not following the federal guidelines.
Yeah, financial aid is a good thing to have.
Yes.
And you don't want to mess it up because it sounds like it's kind of hard to get it back. So another question that I'm just thinking off the top of my head, I'm in the nursing program here.
Okay.
So we have like a group chat that we all talk, and we were all worried about the bookstore, and we were like, oh my gosh, can we charge our books? Can we order them online? So you all said that you can start it August 7th, and they can pre-order. But I looked up the bookstore hours just to let you all know. The bookstore is open Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30, and then Friday, 8:30 to 3. But they're closed on Saturday and Sunday. So, of course, wear your mask, social distancing guidelines, all that good stuff. That's about it. Is there any other comments you think we should address for students, or?
No, I mean, we said it 100 times, but if you have any questions, come in, email us, call us. We're there to help you. We want to help you and reach your goals and stuff like that. So,
Also, if you need any extra financial aid, you can go hit up Ann Knopp, Federal Work Study.
Ann, love
Yes.
Ann.
You can hit up Ann Knopp, and she'll get you Federal Work Study. You can work on
Yes.
campus and go to class.
It's great.
Well, when we will be back, we will be talking to Miss Emmy House about the Ready to Work. Yes. Or is it Work Ready?
No.
Work Ready Scholarship. We'll be talking to Emmy about that one because Shantae talked about us Ready to Work. All right. Cut, Emmy.